thanks to our wonderful sponsors. I don't know if you just saw the news, but average U.S. household debt just hit $152,000. That's mortgages, cars, cards, student loans, but the national debt just hit $37 trillion. It's all going out. Ask yourself this: when the system hiccups, who bails you out? It's not the Fed, not the politicians, and that's why I own gold. Gold doesn't need a CEO, doesn't need missed earnings, it doesn't freeze your account on a Friday at 4:59. While they print, gold just sits there doing what it's done for thousands of years.
Rapids. We're talking about what matters most to you in West Michigan. Join the conversation now at 616-774-2424. That's 616-774-2424. It's West Michigan Live with Justin Barkley on Wood Radio.
Well, the road seemed to be improving. I asked that. It's like a question mark at the end of that. We'll check in on traffic. Of course, we've got the winter weather advisory in effect still yet till 4 p.m. tonight. That's big news, big story, lots of cancellations. May even get some new ones later this afternoon. We'll let you know more about those on the way. But we got big news to cover today throughout the state, your backyard, and beyond. President Trump on the trail yesterday. We'll talk about what he was up to and big changes coming to your healthcare bill.
News, weather, and traffic. Stories of the day. We're talking about what matters most in West Michigan and beyond. This is the Big Three. Now, today's Big Three.
Yeah, the stories that matter most. You're going to be talking about these around the water table, the dinner cooler. Wait a minute. No matter where you are. Yes, Dave Galloway and the team at Heartland Home Mortgage will take care of you. I had a great conversation with him. In fact, we'll talk tomorrow on the air here about what's going on behind the scenes. You know, Fed rate, we're waiting for that today to drop, literally. That story coming up in just a moment here. But he said, you know, it's not just about the rate drop. There's something else you want to look for. And he'll explain that tomorrow morning about 9:35 right here on West Michigan Live. Give him a shout. Maybe he'll give you a preview if you call him, or head online to hhmlending.com, whether you want to buy, refi, home equity line of credit. They're faster, better than the big banks. Senate Leader Thune saying the GOP about to offer an alternative health care bill. So, you know, we've got the ACA, the Affordable Care Act, the Obamacare subsidies, the extended, all of that, expanded coverage, all of that expiring at the end of the year, and that's going to send prices skyrocketing for lots of folks. Now, this is not a Trump problem or a Trump-induced problem. That is a problem that he will need to solve, because ultimately he will get the blame. Democrats, the media, etc., will point the finger at him for the problem that they created. But it's just like any other day that ends in Y. That's exactly the game plan. That's how they move. The Senate has an idea on this. It would focus especially on insurance subsidies. The plan aims to tighten income eligibility for federal subsidies, reduce federal spending, increase state flexibility, and at the same time bring down costs. A lot of this we've heard about has to do with, you know, sort of the health savings account route. We'll talk about it on the way as well. Immigration agents here in Michigan nabbing an MS-13 terrorist gangster in Shelby Township. Those agents, ICE, arresting that suspected gang member, 32-year-old Salvadorian national identified as a criminal illegal alien with alleged ties to that terrorist organization. Now in federal custody, marking the fifth, at least fifth, this year in Michigan, where immigration agents have had to detain those folks. Meanwhile, ICE ramping up a website, the worst of the worst, finding all the convicted pedophiles, illegal aliens, violent folks, the worst of the worst. You can take a look at some of them and browse the work of the good folks at ICE. The Fed meeting today, the expected cut the benchmark rate, dropping it by a quarter point to a target range of 3.5% to 3.75%. We'll wait and see what's coming. In fact, when it gets here later this afternoon. And then, like I said, Dave Galloway joins us coming up tomorrow at 9:35. Right here on West Michigan Live, the stories you won't hear anywhere else, and that's the behind the scenes. We like to do that, pull the curtain back for you, and we'll give you those details you're going to hear coming up. In the meantime, join the program now.
Call Justin now at 616-774-2424. That's 616-774-2424. West Michigan Live with Justin Barclay on News Radio Wood 1300 and 106.9 FM.
I got a comment in the chat here, Facebook, Twitter, X, Rumble, Getter, Locals, YouTube, the usual suspects. The iHeartRadio app, you can watch, stream, and listen live or archived at those different places or wherever you download your podcasts. You can also use that iHeartRadio app to shoot us a comment on the talkback feature. Just use the microphone button next to the play button and let it rip. That's how we work. Tom's saying, I can't wait till ICE goes to Dearborn. Well, you've seen what's happening in Minneapolis and Minnesota right now. They've already started enforcement there on the Somalian fraud that's taken place, but now they're going in and actually knocking on doors and knocking some of them down and getting some of these folks, which is it's a good move when it comes to really taking care of the problem. That is, it's a tough problem, but it needs to be fixed. Otherwise, we're stuck. We're stuck with it. Speaking of being stuck, don't get stuck in the snow today. We got a blanket of heavy, dense snow causing slushy roads, dozens of school closures, or more. You can get the updates on that at woodradio.com. Weather advisory still in effect until 4 p.m. this afternoon. We got a lot from the president yesterday. He was out making his case on affordability. Now, I mentioned this to you the other day, and I still believe this is a big piece. When we are talking affordability, and again, he's mentioned it's a hoax, but don't let the media hoax the hoax. What he's saying is the Democrats are trying to say it's his fault. That is the hoax. Not the fact that you and I have I've seen the prices of certain things go up, but we've got to remember why and where. And they have to do the job, and I believe that's partially what they were doing yesterday, but that's to do the job of reminding you of that, and then also telling you there's a plan. We're continuing down that road. Now, one thing president does quite often is speak in hyperbole, and, we got a little bit of that, each and every time he opens his mouth, but there's some brilliance in there, too. And the hyperbole, especially on the campaign, I'm going to fix it as soon as I come in. The war is going to be done. Russia's going to surrender, all that. And we've seen some of these things actually happen and take place. However, there's been some dragging of the feet in some areas, not from the administration, I would say, but in some places there have been some issues. So we're going to talk about what he needs to do to make that case, but also to let you know what was said yesterday. And the one thing that I think has to make it back, I don't know why. I really don't know what. Why did we stop saying this? Why did we stop calling it what it is? And that's Bidenflation. We've got to be reminded. We got to remind people exactly where this came from. This wasn't overnight. This isn't Trump's fault. Now it is his problem. He does have to solve it. He promised he would, and I believe he will. However, and we've already seen big moves, and let's just take a look at some of them. Gas prices down, obviously the lowest in 4 years we've seen, down under $3 a gallon nationally. I think everywhere in West Michigan I've been lately, it's under $3 a gallon. That's fantastic. But there are other things that need to come down, too. There are some things that he doesn't have the ability necessarily maybe to bring down. There's some things like, let's just say beef. Coffee. Coffee's a good one, too. Coffee's gone up through the roof. Coffee's not up because of Joe Biden's inflation. And vice versa. I don't think beef is either. There are other supply chain issues. In the coffee situation, it's because of the weather where they grow the beans. But, of course, when you see one thing up, you're going to look for all of it. And that's one of those scenarios you just got to, you have to kind of understand. But the problem is most people don't. And in the midterms, this is going to be an issue you have to make sure you are pedal to the metal on. I think the base gets it. Here's some folks in Pennsylvania, but it's not just the base you got to remember. He's not on a ballot in 26, even though we heard yesterday Susie Wiles say he's going to be out campaigning like he is. Because he knows 26 is critical to the survival not only of this administration, but of the country. Here are voters in PA yesterday.
President Trump has addressed a lot of my concerns, brought the price of gas down. No two ways about it.
When it comes to the economy, how would you grade his job performance?
Fantastic.
Confident that the tariff policies are working?
Yes.
How's the Trump economy treating you?
It's doing fine. It's been rough under Biden. Things don't happen overnight. I mean, it takes time. It took time to bring it down. It's going to take time to bring it back up again.
I think the tariff policies will come into effect and start to work because it's going to bring manufacturing jobs back to the U.S. It's going to help stable the middle class and rebuild the middle class.
Tourism is very important here, and there's a lot of people that work in the service industry. I am the owner of an Italian restaurant, and I'm glad that my employees will have the benefit of no tax on tips.
Yeah, that's a whole completely forgot about that. No tax on tips. Should we get a virtual tip jar out? Maybe we should get, they do this everywhere you go now. The virtual tip jar, maybe that's a good way to do this because I went to get my oil changed the other day. Yeah. They asked me, they go, do you want a tip on this? I feel bad not. I mean, I know it's ridiculous. I know Adam's shaking his head in the producer booth, but don't shake your head, Adam. We could put a virtual tip jar out for you. Adam's got to feed the family this holiday, folks. Imagine that. Hey, we might. And I could, we could even spice it up. I get a little bell we could ring in here for you, Serious. I'm not joking. Anyway, we got more from PA. We're talking about that, the voters that were there, what the president had to say, and more. But also, more big news out of Michigan. As I mentioned, how important 2026 is. Why is Jocelyn Benson, the Secretary of State, the most lawless Secretary of State in the state's history? Why is she, with her theme song, breaking the law, breaking the law? Why is Jocelyn Benson adding name after name, thousands, to already inflated voter rolls, being called out by the DOJ as we speak right now? And this story continues to get even more interesting, and we ought to. By the way, she wants to oversee her own election as the governor of Michigan. What could go wrong? Nothing to see her. Coming up at 9:35, James Dixon joins us. We'll break all of that down coming up on West Michigan Live.
News Radio Wood 1300 and 106.9 FM.
Here are your headlines from the Midwesterner this Wednesday, December 10th. I'm Robin Hoffman. It's a Midwesterner.news original story. Here in Michigan, ICE agents arresting an MS-13 gang member in Shelby Township. This is at least the fifth Michigan criminal illegal with terrorist ties taken into custody this year. In other news, a tremendous number of concerned residents here in Michigan flooding a meeting in Lowell Township to oppose a proposed data center, forcing those in charge to cancel the event due to overcapacity.
I have no higher priority than making America affordable again. That's what we're going to do.
And President Trump in Mount Pocono, Pennsylvania at a campaign-style event talking about the economy.
They gave you high prices. They gave you the highest inflation in history, and we're bringing those prices down rapidly. Lower prices, bigger paychecks.
For these stories and more, visit The Midwesterner at themidwesterner.news.
We all love Kingman's Market.
All right, folks, welcome in. I just got some breaking news. Haley Stevens, who wants to be a senator here in Michigan, introducing articles of impeachment against Health and Human Services Secretary RFK Jr. You can't make this stuff up. And I've got video here. In fact, just stumbled across it. This is fantastic. Video of her wearing gloves on the floor of the house there, I guess, giving some sort of speech at some point. Let me see if I can pull this back up. These are nut jobs. These are not serious people. Not serious people. Who is? Interesting. All right, here we go. Take a listen to this.
To impeach Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. She's accusing him of making America less safe when it comes to health. Representative Haley Stevens represents the 11th district just north of Detroit. She says that Kennedy has contempt for science, spreads conspiracy theories, and ignores findings from major health experts.
Fantastic. Oh, fantastic. And here she is, speaking of the science and the data.
I request 30 more seconds because I rise before you.
Look at her with the gloves.
Adorning
The
these
gentleman from Maryland is recognized.
Not for personal attention, but to encourage you to take
Gentlemen,
this
Stevens,
Stevens,
I'm going to give you more time.
Right
that is supposed to be somebody who's reasonable. Science-based. Somebody who is... yeah, right. Okay, all right. Put the pink gloves away, madam. Put them away. Well, they got pink hats, now they have pink gloves. Just imagine that. All right, I got to get back on the air here in just a moment. Let me say first, if I can, thank you for joining us today. The VIPs over on Locals. Want to become a supporter? You can't. Just $9 a month. Join for an entire year. Get the first month free. I'll send you a copy of my book, Good News, Hope, and Encouragement for Trying Times. JustinBarclay.com/VIP. Mando's in the house. Terry, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Gritter is here. Kelly. Gritter's one of the founding lifetime VIPs. Hemi, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you guys. Thank you. Kelly, Karen, and many, many others. I see Jill in the house too. If I missed you, I apologize. Just tap your name back in there, and I'll see if I can bring it back up. I got to make sure I get to the Getter folks too. If you're on Getter today, make sure you say hey, so I can give you a shout as well. Over on Rumble, the Rumblers, Defonger, Such a Time, Ginger, History Diggers, good to see you. Jackie Ray, Tennisel, on the book, Jason, Sean, Bunny, Tammy. I see folks over on the Tube today and X as well. Thank you guys for being here with us. Don't forget, if you want to get your order in time for Christmas, this is it. We're coming in under the wire right now. JustinBarclay.com in the store. Coming in under the wire to make sure you get in your order for Christmas. Go to JustinBarclay.com and do it today. Here we go, folks. A little bit of breaking news this morning. Congresswoman Haley Stevens eyeing that run for Senate here in Michigan as a Democrat, moving to impeach RFK Jr. this morning.
Making America less safe when it comes to health. Representative Haley Stevens represents the 11th district just north of Detroit.
By the way, you want to know who Haley Stevens is? Here she is. This is just a while back on the floor of the House in her suit, big old pearls and pink rubber gloves on. I don't know what the science is behind this, what she was trying to avoid there. I guess it probably is. You know, especially you think some of the muckraking and things that happened there, you know, you might have to bring your boots. I've never seen gloves on the floor of the House like this before. We've seen the mask.
I request 30 more seconds because I rise before you adorning
the
these
gentleman from Maryland is recognized.
Not for personal tension, but to encourage you to take
gentleman,
this
the gentlelady will suspend.
I'm going to give you more time. Right now, to the families.
The gentlelady will suspend. The gentleman from Maryland is recognized.
That's who wants to be your next senator from Michigan, folks. Just so you know who we're dealing with. The lady in the pink gloves with all of the decorum. And, of course, she's very science-backed. Wearing her gloves on the floor of the House. And moving to impeach and introduce the articles of impeachment there of RFK Jr. as the secretary there of the Department of Health and Human Services. We already seen who the Democrats, by the way, yesterday I did this during the after show. Levine. They changed Rachel's name, Levine, back to, what was it? It starts with an I don't remember. But you remember the guy that dressed up in drag? They said, this is who knows a thing or two about health. This slob. We put that side by side with RFK Jr. in an airport with Secretary of Transportation Duffy doing, I think he did 20 pull-ups on a bar sitting in an airport with Duffy the other day. You can't make this stuff up. Yeah, he's not fit, is what she's trying to say. Oh, more on that. And our good friend James Dixon joins us coming up in just moments. You want to join the program? You can. 616-774-2424. In the meantime, thanks to the folks who keep us on our toes and my feet, not just here on the show with big breaking news stories like that one every day, but also the stories about what happens day to day in my life. You know, the real stuff that matters with the girls running around, of course, during the holidays because it gets all wild. You know how it can be. We just had a birthday we celebrated. Oh, yeah. And you're probably thinking about New Year's resolutions right now. Get back to comfort. Get into the Good Feet store. 28th Street there, right in front of Costco in Grand Rapids, or in Portage on Westage in front of Kohl's at the Good Feet store. All righty then. Ladies and gentlemen. Think about this. Some of the kids say the darndest things. I just got this text message from my wife, our oldest, and it just asked if Jesus has a bed. LOL. And I really don't know what to say. Well, hang on. Let me talk it back to her. Well, ... LOL. I would tell her he did have a bed. In fact, he had a manger as a bed when he was a little baby in the nativity. Period. But now Jesus doesn't need a bed. He has a throne. Good luck. I hope that helps. All right, I could talk to her later, but that's brilliant. She's so smart. I know that everybody loves their kids. Everybody thinks that, like, you know, their kid is the smartest and whatnot, but she's 5 and she comes up with some of the wildest things. I just absolutely, you can't, you know, it's like, where does she come up with some of this stuff? Brilliant. Brilliant. Okay, all right, here we go, folks. Our good friend James Dixon joining us live here in just moments. In the meantime, let me get you some of the clips that I didn't get a chance to play. President Trump was interviewed. Maybe we'll do some of this during the after show on Politico. Did a 44-minute interview pulling no punches on how he feels about Ilhan Omar. Of course, we've got actual audio and footage from PA yesterday. We'll do some more of that in moments too. But here's the conversation. That's what they sort of dove it as. Maybe that's the name of the show. Is some gal named Dasha? Maybe is there?
I want to see people that contribute. I don't want to see Somalia. I don't want to see a woman that, you know, marries her brother.
I got to tell you, I love the way he says this. It's the same way as China. He puts the emphasis, just like he used to do it with China. He does the same with Somalia. There's something about it. I don't know what it is. I don't know, but it's just.
That's true.
Wait, hang on. Where is it?
China.
Yeah. China, Somalia.
See people that contribute. I don't want to see Somalia. I don't want to see a woman that, you know, marries her brother to get in and then becomes a congressman, does nothing but complain. All she does is complain. And yet her country's a mess. You know, it's one of the worst in the world. Let her go back, fix up her own country. Somalia, yeah, and I was right about it. You know, I started complaining about Somalia long before the scandal. The horrible things they're doing to Minnesota, it's incredible. They have an incompetent governor there, too. The Democrats are running some bad ships. I want to see people that contribute.
Can't wait. There's so much more. We're rolling through some of that coming up here in just a second, folks. I'm looking for something right now. It's a treat for you for the end of the show here if I can find. Am I on his? Yeah, I guess he hasn't loaded it up here yet. Well. Maybe. Oh, here it is. An instant classic. This is beautiful. Wait a little bit later on in the show. All right, here we go, folks. Back after it in about a minute 44 when we rock out here. Now, if you are watching on Facebook or you're watching on X or Rumble even, Getter, there are places where you can repost. Richard, that was his name when I called him Robert for a second. Thank you, Mama Boom. Very, very good. By the way, Mama Boom and Joe Boy are hanging out on Getter today as well. Richard Levine, that's who we were talking about, right? If you're watching on any of those places, you can help us break the algorithm and get these stories, the stories that you won't hear anywhere else, out to more people. It needs to happen. And of course, I appreciate your, because it really doesn't happen without you. I don't know why, but they throttle us like you've never seen. They throttle us back like you've never seen these stories. Our page. One day they let it go fly and it goes viral. And then they go, whoa. Let's put the brakes on this thing. And they don't let it go out hardly to. And I think part of that is you got the election coming up, the midterms. These guys just go where the wind blows. You know how that is. But anyway, it would definitely help if you click share today. That could help us, no matter what platform you're watching on, get the word out. And if you have a Facebook, definitely click share. Let's get our shares up today. Hang on. Our good friend James Dixon joining us here in just a moment. Lizzie's written me back. She asked what a throne is. And I said, it's like a big chair or seat for a king. And said he takes a nap there, she said. I said, I know. Jesus doesn't need to sleep. He's God. Oh, that's sweet. Very nice. Hang on, folks.
Listening to West Michigan Live with our good friend Justin Barclay. The Glenn Beck program coming up at 10 on Wood Radio.
Big breaking news and all of it. Yeah, we'll take a little bit closer look at the roads here in a bit, and we're still under that winter weather advisory till 4 p.m. today in the snow or whatever it is. It's falling from the sky right now, still causing issues on the roads, school closures, cancellations, all of that at woodradio.com to keep you updated. Stick with us for more of the big breaking news. We just heard Haley Stevens filing the articles of impeachment against RFK Jr. I want to talk about something completely, but first I got to get his reaction, if any, to that story. Good friend James Dixon from the Enjoyer down I-75 over on X, and we just played the video of Haley Stevens there. I don't know how long ago this was. Actual footage of her on the house, looking like rambling like some sort of rabid animal or something. And she's got these pink rubber gloves on. I guess she knows a thing or two about health there. James, welcome in.
Justin, good to hear your voice. That was Haley Stevens at her best. I mean, if she were to be the nominee, that's the video you would see on a loop, because I think it kind of colors everything else she says.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone who could be worked up to those kind of hysterics for a virus that 99.9% of people would survive, this was during the COVID era, obviously has a few things wrong, and maybe should consider getting their life right rather than governing the rest of us. And so with this impeachment against RFK, congrats, Haley. You are now following in the path of Sri Thanadar, who this week tried to impeach our Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth. Michigan is such an embarrassment on the national stage. We're the ones who get calls about this stuff. It's embarrassing.
Why? I mean, the Democrats are, at a time where, really, all you have to do is just show you're like an adult in the room. And I think you'll stand out, but they are racing to the bottom of this radical nonsense. Schumer's doing it. They're all doing it. I guess they're afraid of, the Mamdanis of the world, that might take them over. And we've got our own Mamdanis, these Democrats that are running to be senators here in Michigan. If you look at McMorrow, you look at Stevens, and you look at Abdul Saeed. I mean, they all have these real radical tendencies, don't they? Why can't we? And listen, I'm not a fan of Democrats, but I think it makes the race easier for Republicans. But what is it about Michigan? Is there something in our water?
Justin, I remember hearing when I was a kid, trying to get our generation to not do this, that there's no safe cigarette. I would say today there is no moderate Democrat. I mean, the most reasonable sounding one we thought we had was Alyssa Slotkin, which is why X amount of people last year, it sounds crazy now, but X amount of people in Michigan did vote for Donald Trump as president and Alyssa Slotkin as our U.S. senator. And by the end of the election, by election day, she was acting like she would personally go down to the border and do border security. So she knew how to talk the talk, and that made her people think that she's reasonable enough to deal with. And now what's she doing? She's a half step away from sedition. Yeah. Every other video she's doing is explaining why it's not sedition. And what she never talks about is the 10 million people who live in Michigan. And so Alyssa Slotkin has not given a nice runway for McMorrow or Stevens or El Sayed, because they're not even trying to be normal. Alyssa tried to be normal but was lying. So it just shows there is no moderate option in the blue team.
Yeah. James Dixon with us right now, down I-75 over on X at the Michigan Enjoyer. And the story today out of Michigan that we originally wanted to talk about is a big one. It's a doozy. Secretary of State, the most lawless in the history of the state, breaking the law. Benson wants to run her own election to governor, and she's already starting to pad and inflate the voter rolls yet again. There's another story here about how she's quietly adding thousands to these already inflated voter rolls. And here we go again, is all I can think to say.
You know, once upon a time, this is the kind of story you might expect to get from the Detroit News or Detroit Free Press. But here we have my colleague, Anna Hoffman. And by the way, Justin, you would love Anna. She's great. Anna Hoffman has this bombshell of a report. So since July, Jocelyn Benson, our Secretary of State, she's been required to produce these reports for lawmakers saying how many people have registered to vote in Michigan. And the numbers are just ridiculous. So we already know we have like maybe 7.7 million adults in Michigan, 8.2 million people registered to vote. Okay? So we have 500,000 imbalance just right off the jump. How then, in a state of 10 million people that if we are growing it slowly, but we're probably actually shrinking, how then is Jocelyn Benson registering 180,000 or more people to vote July, August, September, October, every month, 180,000 people. So basically that's roughly 800,000 people, a little bit less. That's 10% of our voting total was registered in just the last 4 months in Michigan. These numbers are actually impossible.
And here we go again. The DOJ having to be called in to take a look at what's happening in Michigan. And I got to tell you, it's so critical 2026. We've got, the idea in 2024 that we got to make it too big to rig. We have to have that same approach in 26 here, because I think as much as things were on the line here for the entire nation in 24, they are. Right. It's make or break for the state in 26.
This is it. If we do not save Michigan, fun fact, not since Stephen T. Mason, not even during Stephen T. Mason, there's never been a time in Michigan history when Democrats ran the state, and whoever's the governor runs the state, for 16 straight years. Whoever wins 2026 is going to win 2030. Our incumbents always win in Michigan. So this is it. We're a Jocelyn Benson and her open ballot box philosophy to be governor, then we're going to get even more open borders. Office of Global Michigan just took a cutback. That's the kind of thing that she would invest in. The Democrat belief is that all 8 billion people on earth should be registered to vote in America and should be allowed to vote in America. And they're just Americans who don't know it yet. And so that's their governing philosophy. And so were they to get in, hell, it's lights out for Michigan. We'd be done.
James Dixon, always a pleasure. Over on the Michigan Enjoyer, check out the work. And, of course, we'll post it up on the stack today. Follow him down I-75 over on X. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you, Justin.
You got it. God bless. Folks, we got updates galore. I've got good news. President Trump breaking something on the latest that's surviving member of the National Guard. You will not want to miss this. Plus a good chuckle before we get out of here. The fastest hour in radio already flying by, folks. It really is. It's incredible. But first, on a day that's already quite eventful, let's check the latest. We have a traffic update, unfortunately.
Now, a report from the Big B Coffee Traffic Center.
Yeah. We've got an accident on 96 westbound between exit 16 and exit 10. That's the Coopersville-Nunica area, closing 96 westbound. So you got to avoid that area. We've got tons of accidents on 196, one at Fuller Avenue, one right at I-96, 96 westbound, an accident at Walker Avenue, 131, an accident southbound direction at Post Drive. So it's still pretty gross out there. Be careful.
Thank you, Adam. Appreciate it. Again, thanks to the folks at Big B Traffic Center. Today, we're taking a look at the Fed rate cut that should be coming our way this afternoon. Stocks little changed in anticipation. They're just sort of on pins and needles awaiting. I think some of them have this baked in. They think they know it's going to be 3.5%. But we're still waiting to figure out exactly what happens. And in the meantime, that's kind of the way it is in life. If you are, well, you're waiting to retire, or maybe you're already there. It doesn't matter whether you're 10, 20 years down the road, or it's today or tomorrow. You're getting ready for that. Well, you want to reach out to the folks at Talent Wealth. Mike Lester and the team take a holistic approach to make sure that you can not just survive, but thrive in those years. Get to where you want to go. And, of course, when you want to get there, no delays. It's kind of like a GPS, right, for those years. Call Mike and the team today at 616-661-1000. On days like today, you might need a little help getting around some of the detours, and they can help you get there. GuardingYourNestEgg.com is the website. That's GuardingYourNestEgg.com, or call 616-661-1000. But let's do it today, of course, before it's too late. You just never know when you're going to need them. Do it now.
Informative, engaging. It's West Michigan Live with Justin Barclay on News Radio Wood 1300 and 106.9 FM.
Here are your headlines from the Midwesterner this Wednesday, December 10th. I'm Robin Poffman. It's a Midwesterner.news original story. The Whitmer administration warns medical providers not to share data with federal immigration agencies. Meanwhile, ICE agents here in Michigan hard at work arresting an MS-13 gang member in Shelby Township. This is at least the fifth Michigan criminal illegal with terrorist ties taken into custody this year.
We were a dead country 1 year ago. We were dead as a doornail. We were going down the tubes. And now we're the hottest country anywhere in the world. There's nobody close.
And President Trump at a campaign-style event in Mount Pocono, Pennsylvania, talking about the economy and what the administration is doing to make things more affordable.
We saved, this little group of people and me, saved a little company called U.S. Steel. And it's hot as a pistol now.
For these stories and more, visit The Midwesterner at themidwesterner.news.
Enjoy comfort.
All right, folks, rolling right along. The fastest hour on radio, flying by, like I mentioned. Good news. I want to make sure we get to that. I got lots of audio from the president for the after show we'll probably have to dip into. At 10:30 today, special Maha Missy update for you. What about your cells? There's brand new breaking sort of updated health information for you. Scientists now supercharging cells to fight aging and the effects of aging. Plus, are energy drinks bad for you? Well, kind of a mixed answer, but you're going to want to hear this coming up at 10:30 and the latest in our Maha Missy update today as we do that. Sort of a special little update for you, and we'll get that coming up. So like I said, lots to discuss. Thank you for sharing today, the folks that are doing that over on Facebook and X and Rumble Boy. We appreciate you helping us get the word out so that people know. We got to get them in the know. We got to make sure we wake people up one person at a time. Sometimes it takes some time to do that. Sometimes it takes a little bit of extra effort. Sometimes there's a little bit of a push. I get it. I understand. Slowly but surely, softly waking them up at times. This is what's required. So we'll do our best. That's our mission here. And we'll keep moving forward. And we thank you for being a part of it. And don't forget, like I said, justinbarclay.com. Today, tomorrow, maybe this week. I got to make sure I got that date locked in exactly. So you know the last day to grab your gear from the Justin store, justinbarclay.com. We're if you want it guaranteed by Christmas, of course, we're on a Wednesday this year. That means Christmas Eve. Well, Christmas Eve is on a Wednesday, right? Got to make sure we get it in at the right time. JustinBarclay.com. Go check that out. Dan over on Getter, too. We appreciate you, Dan, on Getter. Dems are going to try to impeach all cabinet secretaries, Trump and Vance. That's the playbook. And if they get in 26, holy smokes. All right, back after it. Hang on. Here we go, folks. The show after the show on the way as we wrap things up here, too. Again, some good news. We'll talk about that and more. Stand by. Here we go. That winter weather advisory still under effect until what, 4 p.m. today. We still got lots of stuff falling from the sky, no matter whether it's rain or slush or snow. Temps dropping a little bit. We're at 30 right now, and again, causing issues on the roads. We just had that latest traffic update. 96 westbound closed in Coopersville between exit 16 and 10 because of the accident there. So keep an eye on it. Stay with us. We'll have updates for you throughout the day. The fastest hour on radio flying by already. Hey, the story, the War Department confirming there's been 87 of them so far. Narco-terrorists, 87 of them taken out so far in these blasts with the fishing boats, as the folks at CNN would like to say. They're also blasting the scummy reporting of major news sites that have told complete fibs over this whole thing. And it is because I've seen a couple of pieces of footage where they're loading up these boats, and I've actually seen a few of these reports too, where they've got Coast Guard or whoever it is, military, whoever's interacting with these boats, intercepting them, and what they find ain't legal. So it's another piece of this. And if you think about what fentanyl's doing, the hundreds of thousands of people it's killed. When you come in contact with this stuff, it ain't pretty. And it's instant. And it's everybody from taking a pill of something they thought they were taking, some sort of medication or some other sort of illegal drug, and finding that this stuff was inside of it, to kids finding it on playgrounds, officers, police officers coming into contact with it, and immediately going into some sort of respiratory arrest, etc. 87 of them. And we now know this. The flow of it has dropped massively into the country. We're already starting to see some of those effects. We're already starting to see some of the overdoses come down as well. Those are big numbers, and we're seeing that some of it drop. The War Department Press Secretary Kingsley Wilson sharply criticizing the Washington Post for that report. Of course, you remember the fake report, the fake news report about the second order and Hegseth's involvement and all the rest of it. New York Times even had to come out and squash it. Incredibly frustrating, Wilson said, that recent Post story. But, I think that people who work in Trump's administration are unfortunately very used to it. And I would say that she's unfortunately spot on about that. They are used to it. And if you've been paying any attention, you've seen what all of it plays out as. We do have some good news to report. The president on the latest, in fact, sharing this news with folks yesterday, and we've got more clips from his time in Pennsylvania. We got people reacting in Pennsylvania to that trip there yesterday. And then that brand new footage from, I guess it was Politico, where he did the interview yesterday, slams Ilhan Omar. There's a couple of really good pieces from that we probably should pull out and get coming up during the after show, the show after show today. You can listen to the iHeartRadio app, download, and listen live and archived. But the president getting big news about the National Guardsman who was ambushed just before Thanksgiving. We lost one, but the Guardsman, Andrew Wolf, who has been in the hospital this entire time, family thanking you for the prayers, has another update. We heard that he was responding to nurses, and now the fantastic news. He has gotten up from his bed, according to the president. He has gotten up from his bed during a rally in Pennsylvania yesterday, that rally. He talked about the tragic incident, talked about Beckstrom, Sarah, the 20-year-old who had passed from her wounds and the ambush that day, looking down from heaven above. And he said, today I got a call. He got up from the bed. Trump told the crowd about Wolf. Do you believe that? He got up. He got up. Now, he didn't speak. He's not ready for that yet, but he got up, and boy, they're so happy. It's amazing. So we continue to ask you for those prayers, and that you would join us in continuing to pray for Wolf and for his family. Obviously, during a time that you can't even wrap your head around. All right, so later on today, we're going to get Fed news. We're going to find out the latest there. We're going to get the updates. Stick with us for that. Our good friend Dave Galloway will be back with us 9:35 tomorrow to share that. But in the meantime, it's an instant Christmas classic. We've had Sean Farash on before, and he's one of he might be the best when it comes to Trump impersonations. This is an instant Christmas classic. Listen to this undeniable brand new traditional hit, I think.
'Tis the season to deport 'em, fa la 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 la. We love ICE and we support 'em, fa la 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 la.
Well, probably one of the best Trump impersonators I've ever heard. The guy is brilliant. He started doing these videos where he'd go up to like drive-through windows, and he would make these drive-through orders at like McDonald's and whatnot. It went viral for it, and he continues.
Send them on one-way vacations, fa la 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 la.
Oh, boy.
Ramp up those mass deportations, fa la 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 la. We've deported millions so far, fa la 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 la. Next, we'll deport Ilhan Omar, fa la 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 la. Look at how those thugs are acting, fa la 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 la. Let's send those bad hombres packing, fa la 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 la. As your favorite president who gets along very well with Santa Claus, our gift to you is mass deportations. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
That is an instant Christmas classic, folks. Wow. Oh, I'll put that up on the stack today, too, so you can share that if you want to have another chuckle. JustinBarkley.com. Back tomorrow with more After Show Flying X. The Glenn Beck program is up in minutes right here on Wood Radio.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses, and we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. God is the kingdom, power, and glory forever and ever. Amen. Amen.
Make it a great day. God bless.
WOOD Grand Rapids, WOOD FM Muskegon. The news is next on Wood Radio.
An iHeart radio station.
Guaranteed human.
Experience luxury and reliability with affordable
All right, folks, here we go. Rolling right along. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Stop making me laugh. I'm shoveling. I know what you mean. Fantastic. Click a few buttons here. We're going to get rolling in the after show, the show after the show. Here we go. Get ready to strap in. It's going to be a heck of a ride. It's like drinking from a fire hose. Never a dull moment, but yes, you'll hear the stories you won't hear anywhere else, and we appreciate you being here with us for them today. I'm Justin Barkley. Welcome into the after show, the show after the show. Don't forget, folks, just a day or two left to get in and get your order in for your gifts. The gift that keeps on giving. Truth, logic, common sense, faith, family, freedom. Support the mission. JustinBarkley.com. We got the Not Far Right So Far t-shirts. We got the Gulf of America, Fool Around and Find Out gear. One Nation Under God. All of it. All of it at JustinBarkley.com inside the store. But you gotta, if you want to get it in, you probably need to get your order in the next day or so. Just a heads up. As we move into the swing of things, thick into the holidays, our good friend Maha Missy will join us coming up at 10:30 for a bit of a Maha Missy health update. If you're listening to this podcast, it'll be a separate podcast. So go look for that later, a separate segment podcast. But if you are hanging out with us here on the live stream, you won't have to go anywhere. By the way, we live stream each and every day. Make sure you're following all of those different places: Facebook, Twitter, X, Rumble, Getter, Locals, YouTube, you name it. We've got them all up and online. JustinBarkley.com, where we link to that too. By the way, here's the boat. I just played this. Well, I wanted to make sure you got a chance to see it. I shared it over on X, and
Sé que las fronteras es nido de traficantes. Tal vez sí tengan razón, pero ¿quién va a comprobarles si yo fuera de la ley?
these are fast boats. These boats that they're showing, and they're being loaded up right now with drugs. This is not a fishing charter right here. You can see the actual packages being loaded onto the boat. So I don't know. I get, and even some people will claim to be conservative or even maybe a libertarian to come on and go, how do you know the boats don't have drugs? How do you know they don't? Are you kidding me? We've seen story after story. We've got these videos. We've got pictures. We've got intel. Now you could say, well, they're lying to us. That intel isn't real. Well, I guess if you want to say that, that's a whole nother story, but you've got to be able to back that up. Well, the government lies to us. Yes, they've always lied to us. But is this government, is this administration lying to us about this? It's possible. I'll say that. I know there's a lot going on right now, and particularly Venezuela. There's a whole nother piece of this story that really needs to be examined when it comes to the influence of places like China and Russia and what they're doing, particularly in our elections and elections across the world. We've heard these stories. It's very interesting. You want to add that into it. It's a whole nother piece. But I almost anymore, I have to kind of take the route of I just don't comment on some things. It's like, you can't talk sense into some people. They're going to believe what they're going to believe, and that's all there is to it. Hey, do you use DoorDash? I've always been a little weird about this kind of thing. I think I've used DoorDash or one of these services once or twice. I'm not a big fan of it because I just don't think the food that comes is coming fresh and coming hot, and it's really hard to do that anyway. It's hard to deliver food. So anyway, there is a story floating around out there. And then you're going to get into, well, did somebody mess with the food? Well, that's this story altogether. And again, I don't tell you to scare you, but I tell you to prepare you. This happened in my hometown in Indiana, apparently. And this woman's been charged. Check this out. A DoorDasher caught delivering an order. Well, she looks like a piece of work, doesn't she? Look at this. Caught on camera. Did you see what she did? Look at this. She's caught on camera. I don't know what the reasoning was for this, but look in her right hand. She's got keys, and you could see a little squirt come out. It's pepper spray. She pepper sprayed the food. What?
My wife had started eating and she started choking and gasping, and after she had had a couple bites of her food, she actually threw up. It's pepper spray. It's more than likely what it is, but now in this day age, it could have been anything. Could have been rat poison, could have been fentanyl.
Like terrorism, you don't know what somebody might want to do, some kind of weird nerve agent or something. I don't know, poison.
You know, I mean, my wife could have been dead. Definitely want to see her prosecuted.
Oh, dear God, I hope they do. Can you imagine? Like I said, I don't do this kind of thing, and I just does not. This doesn't help me. You know, my faith in humanity is growing dimmer every day, but God, right? I see stuff like this, and I go, holy cow. Are you kidding me? It's just hard to watch because you think, I mean, who knows what the situation? Maybe this person can't leave their home and they got any number of reasons they're sick or whatever it might be. You just something like that to the and what was the reason? Was there a story? Was there a reason? I don't know if I saw the full. You know, why did they find out why this woman did it? Of course, we got the doorbell footage. That's not gonna help this lady. A DoorDash driver banned from the app now after accused of spraying a customer's order. It was from Arby's, where they have the meats, by the way. Hold the pepper spray, though. Hold the pepper. That's a little too spicy for me. Banned from the app, accused of dousing an order with pepper spray and causing an unsuspecting customer to fall ill after eating the tainted food. What's the punishment for this? I mean, banned from the app is one thing, right? But like you got to do some jail time for this. I'm thinking this person is not right. Now you may say, well, they just had a bad day. I don't know. This type of thing is, there's really only one way to describe it. It's evil. It's just evil. I mean, I can't imagine this. The driver hasn't been charged with any crime. She will be. If I know that area, she will be. In fact, my friend used to be the prosecutor there. Kid I went to school with. Dropping off the Arby's delivery to Mark Carden and his wife, Mandy, when she snapped a confirmation photo you saw in the video there before suddenly producing an object from her pocket and spraying the order. So we saw that. Let's see if we can get the actual spray. Yeah, it's kind of hard to get, but there it is. There it is. Look at now you can see that spray, the stream on the screen. Wow. The blue-haired worker placed a spray back into her jacket pocket before walking away, all in front of the camera. This is the other thing. Like, why would you do this? There are cameras everywhere. You know you're being watched. Why do you think you could get away with it? These people can't be right. The couple brought the order inside, unaware that something was wrong with it, began chowing down. Moments later, Mandy began struggling to breathe. I noticed my wife started eating. She started choking and gasping. She had just a couple of bites of her food and actually threw up. The horrified customer began investigating the cause of his wife's sudden illness. When he examined the order, I had a look at the bag and seen there was some sort of kind of spray or something. Carden said the bag had been tampered with. So pulled up my doorbell camera to see the lady who dropped the food off actually tampered with it on purpose for some reason, he says. He attempted to contact her, but she had already blocked him on the app. Carden reported the food runner's stunt to DoorDash and the Vanderburgh County Sheriff's Office, now looking to get the driver fired and charged. I definitely want to see her prosecuted. Well, you just heard that. DoorDash says they have a zero tolerance policy for this type of appalling behavior. The dasher in question has been permanently removed. Well, yeah, but she ought to see some time. You just can't do this kind of thing to people. It's horrific. I mean, you're messing with people's food. This is a whole nother. It's a whole nother level of evil. Anyway, I get the full news report. I got to see if there's any indication as to why the woman did it.
Where an investigation is underway into one man's strange DoorDash experience, which was all caught on camera. Our Emma Beck spoke with him today and joins us now with this developing story. Emma?
Well, Rob, Mark Cardin is seeking charges after his doorbell camera caught a DoorDash delivery driver as they seemed to pepper spray his order. He says watching the video, he couldn't believe what he was seeing. It was just past midnight on December 7th when Mark Cardin and his wife decided to order DoorDash. It didn't take them long to realize something was wrong with their food.
And I noticed my wife had started eating and she started choking and gasping, and after she had had a couple bites of her food, she actually threw up.
Mark started to investigate.
And I had to look at the bag and see that there was some kind of spray or something the bag had been tampered with. So I pulled up my doorbell camera and seen that the lady that dropped the food off had actually tampered with it on purpose for some reason.
We've blurred the delivery driver's face since no charges have been filed yet, but this video from Mark's doorbell camera caught her red-handed, spraying the food bag after dropping it off.
We have the news channel blurred. We had it unblurred.
It's horrific. I mean, we assume it's pepper spray. It's more than likely what it is, but now in this day and age, it could have been anything. Could have been rat poison, could have been fentanyl. You know, I mean, my wife could have been dead.
Mark immediately contacted DoorDash and then law enforcement.
I definitely want to see her prosecuted.
Is this, do you think what happened? Sean says, DoorDashers get upset over tips if you don't tip. I don't use it enough to know, and I don't know that everyone does, but is that the thing? Are you supposed to tip like before you get the food? Like you tip, like you pre-tip? And if you don't tip, they get mad? Is that what was happening there? I mean, I can imagine that sucks, especially if you order a drive all over town or something, and then you get there and there's no tip. But at the same time, it's not guaranteed that you're going to get a tip. Now, they'll say, if you can't tip, don't order, which I also understand as well. But it's kind of tough. The whole tip thing, I tip generously. I always like to tip, 20% and above, sometimes even more so. Just depending on service, but I like to have the service before I tip too. Although I think the old school way of tipping used to be you would tip to ensure prompt service, right? That's a tip. You would tip before you got your service. So, it works both ways, but you don't poison somebody. You don't you can spray somebody's food with pepper spray.
The sheriff's office says they are investigating, and a possible charge could be consumer product tampering, a level 6 felony. Mark says they don't know the driver, and they did tip her.
We live in a terrible world right now. Horrific.
There you go, Sean. Now we got our answer. They did tip her.
Or mean for no reason. There was no reason to do what she done.
He says he's using this experience to encourage others to be alert at all times.
I would say to anybody, if you order...
Look at that camera. It's so bright. Look how big and bright the thing's got a big light on it. How did that woman know or think there wasn't a camera there? I mean, you got to be a certain kind of special not to think you're not being...
Be alert at all times.
I would say to anybody, if you order food on any kind of delivery service, make sure you have a doorbell. This is making me second guess ever ordering food from anywhere ever again.
Bro, I pre-guessed it. This is why I don't do it. Pizza delivery, that's a whole nother thing. Those guys are the best of the best in some of those places. They do it, because they're in-house, right? This DoorDash thing, these are people, and by the way, I'm glad that we have opportunities to do this kind of thing, but these are people who are they don't really want to be doing it. There's no permanence to it. It's even more casual than Uber. And if you've done it, you could probably fill us in. Maybe you do it. Maybe there's certain things that are best practices that you do to ensure that, you're getting tips. And I don't even know, maybe there are things, but like, that's kind of the good part about it is it's casual and you can do it whenever you want on your schedule. But that's also the bad part about it. Like, you really want somebody bringing you food. These people could be the kind of psychopaths and they're bringing you food. Same with the Uber. I mean, you don't know who's driving you around. Of course, they got to pass, certain background checks and things like that, I'm sure. But at the end of the day, it's, I'm sure it is tough to watch.
Well, Mark says his wife has been battling a respiratory infection for a little while, and eating the tampered food prolonged her recovery.
What?
The sheriff's office says if the tampering results...
How about that guy? They're getting a payout from DoorDash. I don't know what they're going to get, free delivery for life or something like that, but they're getting a payout from DoorDash.
...in harm, it would be a level 5 felony. Rob?
Wow. All right, that was way too loud. Commercial. There you have it, folks. What a wild story. Crystal, there's no other way to say it. She poisoned that woman. So there's no tax on tips, better food. I see, Tammy. Thank you. Sean says, I did it before. I didn't care if I got tips or not. I just wanted to give good service. Well, that's the way to do it, I would say. Troy says, well, maybe they tipped, it just wasn't large enough. Maybe that was the problem. But how do you know? And people are sick. Sometimes they don't know what to do. I mean, I don't know. The whole thing is insane. The whole thing is insane. All right, I got President Trump on a video from Politico. Do we want him in that interview, or do you want to watch some of the videos from him at Pennsylvania at the rally? I think maybe rally might be a little more entertaining. We'll see. There may be some decent clips I can pull out, but here he is talking in Pennsylvania, trying to make the case as they're getting things back on track, a little bit more affordable for folks.
Glass ceiling, and then someday, perhaps not after the next couple of elections, but someday we'll have a woman break with the glass ceiling. Hillary Clinton was going to do that. She took the convention center, which I was responsible for having built in New York, the Javits Convention Center. It was my deal.
Interesting story there. Here, Scott Bessent talking about lower prices, what they've already done for affordability.
Thanks to President Trump's efforts on deregulation, America's businesses are able to build and innovate again. Thanks to his one big beautiful bill, Americans are taking home more of their hard-earned income as a result of no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security, and deductibility of auto loans for American-made cars. American-made cars. And thanks to his heroic efforts in trade, trillions of dollars in new investment have flowed into the United States, and our workers are finally able to compete on an even playing field. These policies in combination are driving a boost in production that will lower the prices of goods for all Americans in 2026, while also creating jobs and increasing incomes. This is the formula for prosperity: lowering prices, raising incomes. And
by the way, that is their big push right now, is to get your income level up. At the same time, they're lowering prices, and that this is going to create things, and your cost of living is going to go down. All that, it's going to kind of start to even out a little bit. That's the goal. Don't forget about the tariff check, whether we see that or not. That's a whole nother story.
Every component of the Trump economic agenda is in pursuit of these twin goals. Under President Trump, scarcity is giving way to prosperity. The benefits of his agenda are now rippling through the economy, and those ripples will become waves as his agenda gathers force in 2026. President Trump has put a decisive end to the 3 I's. I would add a fourth one: insanity, under Joe Biden. Insanity. Our great president is ushering in a golden age economy by making America affordable again.
There you go. So that's the push. That's the messaging, the talking points there. Now we'll see how far it flies. I will tell you this. It's important. The message is got to be clear. The message has got to be clear on this. Bidenflation caused these prices to jump. And the Trump administration is working now to bring them down. And we're already seeing it happen in several different places. Here's the interview from Politico pulling no punches on Ilhan Omar. Ilhan Omar from Somalia. He talks about her in this latest Politico.
I want to see people that contribute. I don't want to see Somalia. I don't want to see a woman that, marries her brother to get in and then becomes a congressman, does nothing but complain. All she does is complain, complain, complain. And yet her country's a mess. It's one of the worst in the world.
He makes a good point. They always do this. They complain about America and they never take a minute to look at what is really going on right now in back home. And they don't want to go back home either. It's so good there, but they don't want to go back home. That's the other weird thing about it, isn't it?
Let her go back, fix up her own country. Somalia, and I was right about it. I started complaining about Somalia long before the scandal. The horrible things they're doing to Minnesota, it's incredible. They have an incompetent governor there, too. The Democrats are running some bad ships. I want to see people that contribute.
Play that for you earlier today, too. Here's the president on the economy. And again, Bidenflation, inheriting this mess from Biden, that's got to be something that they hit. But at the same time, you can't rest on that forever. You've got to make the case of what we've done. Here's what we're doing right now. Here's what we've done. Here's what's coming next. And here's when you can expect results. Make sure the timeline's clear. You got to communicate this stuff with people so they can see and understand and they don't lose hope.
I inherited a mess.
Yeah.
I inherited a total mess. Prices were at an all-time high when I came in. Prices are coming down substantially. Look at energy. You and I discussed before the interview, energy. Energy has come down incredibly. When energy comes down, everything, because it's so much bigger than any other subject, but energy has come down incredibly. Prices are all coming down. It's been 10 months. It's amazing what we've done. If you think of gasoline a gallon, they had it at $4.50, almost $5. You go to some of the states, you had it at $6. We hit
California, especially any of those left-wing, left coast places. That's what you were dealing with. Just incredible. Some of them still up there.
3 states 2 days ago, $1.99 a gallon. When that happens, everything comes down. Now, everything is coming down. With beef, I've just opened that up where beef is going to start coming down pretty substantially. I inherited a mess.
Good to see that. I know people would like to see it. I will tell you, I haven't felt anything massive yet, even in, I'd say with energy costs, we've seen that under Biden. There's nothing new under Trump that I saw go up that I go, I can't afford that, or we got to stop doing this. There's nothing that I've seen that have made me flinch. I think, if anything, it would still just be the case that's made that, hey, we want to see this come down quicker. And I think that there's one of the issues is the attention span and the patience level. We live in the on-demand culture, right, where everything's got to happen yesterday. And it's tough to deal with. Now, I know he's going to get it done quickly and at a rate never before seen, but is it going to be fast enough? And particularly for the midterms, you got to balance that against the Democrats and the media, but I repeat myself, running that message.
The case is very interesting because that case...
Here he is talking about birthright citizenship and the case at the Supreme Court.
...was meant for the babies of slaves. And if you look at the dates on the case, it was exactly having to do with the Civil War. That case was not meant for some rich person coming from another country, putting a foot in our country, and all of a sudden their whole family becomes, United States citizens. That case is all about slaves, the babies of slaves. And it was a good reason for doing it. And that's all it was about. And people now are understanding it. It's been explained to them. And I think the court understands it too. That would be a devastating decision if we lose that case.
That court,
because our country cannot afford to house tens of millions of people that came in through birthright citizenship. When that happened, that was meant for the babies of slaves. And if you look at the exact dates that it was passed, It all had to do with the Civil War and the ending of the Civil War. It's that little period of time, and people now are starting to understand.
This is, I think you're going to see, and it's going to be interesting to watch how the Supreme Court lands on this, but I think you're going to see the people's opinions on these things start to shift as well. President Trump talking about healthcare, Obamacare, how it was set up and what he needs to see, what he'd like to see happen. Some of this we might already be seeing take place right now.
Obamacare was set up for insurance companies to become rich.
Right.
Okay. That was why they, in my opinion, I think the Democrats did it for that reason. Do you know that insurance company stocks have gone up 16, 17, 1,800% over a short period of time? They've been paid trillions, not billions, trillions of dollars. And what I'm saying is very simple. I don't want to pay them anything. No money for the insurance companies. Sorry, fellas, I know them all. No money for the insurance companies. I want to pay the money directly to the people and let the people get their own health care. But you know who's fighting me in that? The Democrats. Obamacare was set up for insurance companies to.
You'd like to see some bit of a health savings account, an HSA type of deal where the money goes to you, you get to decide what you get and what you don't, and it all gets figured out there. That's an interesting concept. I think it would bring costs down as well, because you would see competition take place between these insurance companies and also the healthcare providers. In true Trump style, here's the president trashing Politico in the middle of the interview with Politico.
Can you rule out an American ground invasion?
I don't want to rule in or out. I don't talk about it. Why would I talk to you, an extremely unfriendly publication, if you want to call it Politico, that got $8 million from Obama to keep it afloat? Why would I do that? Why would I talk about that to Politico? I mean, I'm doing this because you picked me as a man for Europe.
I'm asking for transparency for their American people, because a lot of folks are, people are wondering
I am
what
the
is
most transparent politician maybe in the world.
A lot of folks are wondering what our goals are in
Venezuela. But I don't want to talk to you about military strategy.
Can you rule out an American?
That's like the most obvious. He said, I don't know how many times I've heard him say that through the years. I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to do and what I'm not going to do. That like instantly disarms me. It's just not smart. Now, maybe the last guy would have done that. But nope, not this one. Hey, I've got some other interesting stories, some other videos we got to play for you as well before we get out of here today. And there's one that's absolutely miraculous. I saw this one and I go, holy cow. But first of all, imagine this happening. You're driving down the road and this happens. And then the guy survives, which was even more incredible. He has minor injuries. There is a video of a plane crash on a Florida interstate. And now it's not like a massive 747 or anything like that, but it's a plane crash. They just watch it and go, what? How this actually got the guy get out and survive this? I think it was on 95, Interstate 95. Now that thing, here it is. Interstate 95, Merritt's Island, Florida is where this was. A small plane though, got a crash landing on a busy interstate, Merritt Island, Florida. And it lands on top of a Toyota Camry. Maybe this is a commercial for a Toyota Camry, because the thing's not. It's. You could tell it's dented in a little bit, got some issues, but it might even still run. Planes, trains, and automobile style. The pilot, a 27-year-old male, and passenger with him escaped uninjured. And I believe the guy in the car survived too. It really is. It's a miracle. The Beechcraft 55 lost power in both engines just before 6 p.m. Monday on southbound I-95 near Cocoa. And you see this thing coming in, and it's caught on a dash camera, which even...
Bro, I have chops.
This is even more incredible, but it's caught on a dash cam. When you see this, you think to yourself, how did the guy survive? This is incredible.
Bro, I have chops, I swear.
Oh!
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. A plane just crashed onto a highway. On a highway right in front of us.
And he kind of bounced. If you see that, like, coming in, he kind of bounces. Ooh. Bounces on the car. Maybe the car helped cushion the landing. It's incredible that they all survived. What a miracle. There's the car and the plane. On the center of the officer, I'd like to report. By the way, who covers this? Does your insurance company? Is it like Mayhem gets the call? Or the guy from, was it Farmers? We've seen a thing or two here. Yeah. What does that do to your insurance rates? I can't imagine. People are losing it in droves right now over a color of the year. I remember seeing them come out with these in past years. I don't pay a lot of attention to this stuff because I'm a man. Let's be honest. But woke women are now melting down over this color of the year. It's some sort of shade of white. Pantone revealing its annual color of the year, shade of white, with raging folks on the left, tone deaf. Watch these clips of these people losing.
Cloudy days as color of the year is a political statement. Call me too woke. I don't care.
It's cloudy days is the name. It's the name of. So it's a white. And these people aren't happy. And notice the nose ring. Look,
I'm wrong. It is a political statement. It's giving.
He's got two, though. Look at that.
Sydney Sweeney has good genes.
Sydney Sweeney is catching strays once again. Woke white women on TikTok have a surprising new target, the color white. Specifically, Pantone's 2026 Color of the Year, which is a bland off-white shade dubbed Cloud Dancer. The post called it the most boring choice of all, but is it racist? That's what some far-left influencers are claiming.
It's a political statement. You're going to choose white and market it as a soothing reset.
First of all, this just goes to show that some of these people, got to pray for them. They're completely off. I mean, they see that everywhere. Everywhere they look, they're looking to be offended.
Who, babe? Who is that soothing?
This TikToker named Riley, who boasts 40...
I just want to point something out about Riley's walls and her ceiling. What color are they?
4.6 thousand followers called Pantone's pick
She's got a GoFundMe set up too. I wonder what she's doing.
Shady political statement and compared it to this year's controversy over American Eagle's jeans ad starring blonde-haired, blue-eyed actress Sydney Sweeney. As for the latest Pantone hubbub, TikTokers are calling it tone deaf and out of touch, and at the very least, an attempt to court controversy.
So Pantone just announced their color of the year for 2025, and they chose white. In this political climate, are we...
Babe, again, I hate to break it to you. Have you looked around? Look at these people in the background. Their walls, their bookshelves, they're white.
Being serious right now. If not a dog whistle, why does it look like a dog whistle?
The term dog whistle...
Okay, I can't. That's enough. Isn't that enough? How about some common sense? Let's do some common sense. David Spade and Dana Carvey have a podcast called Fly on the Wall. And they're calling it out, the war on Christmas, which is hilarious to hear finally some of these guys saying it. Like, here's some common sense. How do you have a Christmas tree lighting without calling it what it is? Which is a Christmas tree.
I will tell you, Dana, before we get into my movies and my real strong opinions,
your picks, your hot picks.
I will say that Christmas is taking a little bit of a beating lately. It is December, and I saw the other day there was a tree lighting ceremony for the Christmas tree in some dopey mall. I don't know.
Yeah, sure.
But it said tree lighting ceremony, and they were careful not to say the word Christmas during the whole ceremony.
No.
I'm like, why? Why can't, so it's just a tree? And you go, I would understand if you said they're doing the tree lighting at the Grove or whatever. You go, okay.
Mm-hmm.
But to consciously avoid that, then what is the tree for? A December to remember? Is it a Lexus dealership? Why do we have for the whole month? Isn't it for Christmas?
Well, I know a lot of different kinds of people.
Sure.
Yeah. We know John Lovitz and others. I've never met someone from another religious faith that was upset about a Christmas tree.
I'd say stop that bullshit.
I'm just telling you about this is really an interesting clip. I'm going to put the link up. These guys are still really funny, and they've had some really great shows lately, but I will tell you that because they've been on it about COVID, they've been on it about a couple of topics that are just common sense. And there's even one part which I would never have suspected this, but David Spade goes on to kind of profess that he's a Christian. Which I don't know why I'm surprised by that, but what a new era. It's kind of, I will say, it's kind of refreshing. And to see people speak up and they have a platform to do it, right? They don't care. They've got their own podcast, their own show, and say, well, this is ridiculous. Love it. Back to truth, logic, and common sense. If you're hanging with us, watching the stream, we got a Maha health update you're not going to want to miss. Stick with us. We're just wrapping up the recording right now. If you're listening on the podcast recorded, take a look for the update, the Maha Missy update that you won't want to miss. We've got news stories and a health update that you may want to stick around for. Scientists supercharge cells to fight effects of aging and more. The importance of those cells we're going to get into. And are energy drinks bad for you? The answer may surprise you. We'll talk about that coming up, Maha Missy. In the meantime, you just got a couple days left to get your orders in right now for the merch in the store, justinbarkley.com, to ensure that they get here by Christmas. All the great shirts, hoodies, tees, things for kids as well, the mugs and more inside at justinbarkley.com. Do it today. All right, you're getting an extra dose of the behind-the-scenes live stream today. Maha Missy is going to jump in, and we're going to actually record this podcast with you so you can watch it live. Missy, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Let me take off my glasses. Let me try to see you.
No, you look good. You sound good. Everything's ready to roll. I'm going to hit record in just a second.
Okay.
Probably will be about, we're going to say about 10 minutes. Maybe 15 for this. We'll see, because we only got a couple of subjects. But if you have questions, folks, drop them in the chat. And then one of the things that Missy and I talked about last time we did this kind of off the air was like, hey, we'd love to hear from you. If you have questions you want answered, maybe she can get to some of those in future shows as well with the Maha Missy update. So that being said, if you're ready,
I'm ready.
Lock in. Let's do it. Let me fire it up. Here we go. Get ready to strap in. It's going to be a heck of a ride. It's like drinking from a fire hose. Never a dull moment, but yes, you'll hear the stories you won't hear anywhere else, and we appreciate you being here with us for them today. I'm Justin Barkley. Welcome in to the Maha Missy Health Update for you. Lots of things are happening behind the scenes each and every day, and of course, ever since this movement. This morning, we just got the first news. There's a congresswoman in Michigan that wants to impeach RFK Jr. I think she's you know, this is the history. She's in for a little surprise, and she's running for
Gretchen's cousin. Is it Gretchen's cousin by perchance?
It's even better. And Missy, I've got to show you. This is you talk about health. This is I'll just show you a real quick picture of her. Here she is back during COVID days. This is Haley Stevens, congresswoman from Michigan. I think it's the 11th district. Anyway, take a look at her. She was on the floor of the House wearing pink rubber gloves. You can't make this stuff up. She thinks she knows more about health than RFK Jr. Now, we saw yesterday, I don't know if you've seen this, but RFK Jr. doing the pull-ups. You talk about
what's pretty buff. Yeah.
The most healthy guy we've probably ever had in this position. He's doing the pull-ups. I want to say he did like 20 of these.
Yeah. 71, right? Yeah.
It was incredible. I've never seen anything like this before. And a guy like that who's, I mean, what is he? Like, he's got to be
71. I think he's 71, I think I saw.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
That's incredible. The guy knows a thing or two about that.
He knows something. And when some mainstream media puts a cork in their mouth, maybe he can eventually let us know everything he's been doing, but he's been suppressed.
Yeah. I tell you what, he's not suppressing those workouts. Look at this guy go. I mean, he's just ripped. And there he goes. Oh man. He just keeps going.
Yeah.
I mean, he's making me tired watching him.
Yeah. You know what they're mad at? He's not killing people. He's removing, I think since we talked last week, they finally agreed to remove the Hep B, vaccine from the list. Huge win, because most of those babies coming out, they don't need it because the mom already got checked to see if she is a drug user or she had a sexually transmitted disease. I mean, we've been fighting against this for years, but but doctors know best. Ladies with pink gloves know best.
Speaking of fighting, they're still fighting it in a pretty interesting way because I've seen some news reports on this, and they're still trying to push. Like this was some sort of an extreme take. And I thought, man, I don't think once people actually hear and they see the truth behind it all and they really are able to understand what's been happening.
Oh, yeah.
Why that matters. I think you're going to see more and more people turned on to the truth, logic, and common sense of these stories that they're just not getting the answers to from anywhere else.
Correct. No, absolutely. I really think that, I was thinking about this morning, I had a few consultations yesterday. Again, I'm talking with people all over the United States, not just our hub here in Michigan. And one of my people I was talking to, she, woke up during COVID. Up until COVID days, she was thoroughly convinced that her doctor knows best. And so she listened to her doctor her entire life. And she's a hot mess because she listened to the medical model. And now she's pivoting out of it. And so when I was speaking with her yesterday about what it is that we do, but more important, I explained before I say what we do, I have to explain how the body works, how the body literally is working. And once you catch on to that message, now I can talk about what we do. And she literally was so upset. She was like borderline, like wanting to drop some F-bombs. And it wasn't at me. It was to people she is feeling the full blow of what it feels to wake up. I mean, I was like literally talking to a woman who's continuing to see and see and see. So I believe there's a lot of people like that. I mean, I think that when we're on shows like this, we're kind of preaching to the choir a little bit, but I really had to take a step back and go like, wow, we have to be prepared to have these kind of conversations with people who are just now waking up. Again, I think we're preaching to the choir right now. But to have grace and be like, how'd you not see this? I'm like, they couldn't see it because as in the Matrix, they had different colored goggles on. We got different color goggles on. They got different color goggles on, and we're not speaking the same language. And their goggles are coming off, and they're starting to see. So,
very, very good stuff. I want to talk about cells today, the aging process, and the question about energy drinks. Are they bad for you? Or not? Well, the answer may surprise you coming up in a little bit. We're going to get into that. But first, Missy, this is a big story. Yeah. Scientists supercharge cells to fight effects of aging, and it's gone mainstream now. The quest to slow aging, focusing on the mitochondria, the cell's powerhouse, because their decline drives aging. Recent Texas A&M research uses nanoflowers to boost stem cells, making them super donors of fresh mitochondria of ailing cells, effectively recharging them to restore function and fight age-related diseases like Alzheimer's and muscle weakness, offering a promising regenerative approach. The reason I think it's so wild to see this is that this is at the heart of a lot of the things that you actually do. My Pure Health Solutions, healthwithjustin.com. Obviously, we talk a lot about weight loss, but what they're really doing behind the scenes is making people healthy again.
Yeah. And this right here is something that because I looked at what we were going to talk about today, and I was like, wow, I'm going to have to pull it back because this is now making mainstream, and I call this a drip. I know about stuff like this. I'm like, oh, well, we've been doing things like this. Stem cells. Yeah, there's a company that's been around for a couple years now that has proven by patent. I think I know why RFK Jr. is doing those push-ups is because of this company. There is a company that's already figured out how to turn your stem cells on naturally. And again, it's all frequency. So what this company is doing is remarkable. They're targeting the mitochondria of the cells. The mitochondria of the cells is the energy house. So when we talk all the time, every single cell in the human body, we have 36 trillion cells. Every single cell in the human body is only able to function. Yes, a cell is your lifeline. Your cells have life messages that they're sending out, and they're sending signals out every day. Every day, your body is a wireless communication center. You're a smart body. That's a new way to look at it. You got a smart watch. Well, guess what? That body's way smarter than that smartwatch. And again, what communicate how the system's working, the body's working is constantly setting out frequencies. So yeah, so what this company is doing, that they're like, wow, we can get in there. They're, again, it's the medical model. They're going to provoke the stem cell to create more stem cells, and then again want to doing with the mitochondria. But anyways, but yeah, this is exactly what people need to see is things can be restored, replenished, and what I say, they can be turned back on. If you can turn your TV on with a remote control, what's turning that TV on? It's a signal. It's a signal. We've got signals all over the place. So yeah, it's amazing. And the stem cells, one thing that's for most people, again, Alzheimer's, I mean, I see this stuff because we work with stem cells in our company. If most people understand the power of the stem cell, this is why it's so important. That's why this is a huge deal. And for people to grasp, stem cells are what I call the most holy grail of all cells in the body. It was designed to have one huge job. The huge job that was given the stem cell is to heal and repair everything and anything in that body of yours. Everything and anything. Heart cells, kidney cells, bone marrow, brain, pituitary, ligaments, joints, tissue. Yes, a stem cell, when it's active, when active means the signal is leaving the stem cell. When those stem cells have active signals going out, what happens is your body innately sends that stem cell to wherever it is in that body of yours. Again, matrix, right? Wireless communication towers. When we're 20 years old, we have 1 billion stem cells. 1 billion army of stem cells that are constantly healing and repairing. And how they heal and repair, this is amazing. Let's pretend your kidney has an issue going on, right? When the kidney has an issue going on, the kidney sends out what I would call like an inflammation signal. You don't know it's having a problem because God was good enough and didn't allow any of our organs to have pain receptors. That's why people are shocked when they find out they had 4-stage cancer in their liver. They didn't feel anything. That's why we can have do brain surgery while you're alert. The brain doesn't feel anything, right? So when the signal goes up, the kidney's like, hey, I have an issue, or bone marrow says, I got an issue, or you got a wound in your knee because you twisted it. Inflammation signals are going up. Stem cells race to the site of wherever that is. And this is how cool they are. They morph, they shapeshift, whatever you want to call it. They morph, they turn into a brand new kidney cell for you. And what that is doing for your body is stopping you from aging. It's healing and repairing you right on the spot, which is amazing. But here's the problem. By the time we turn 30, over 50% of our stem cells aren't working anymore. The signal is like a dead cell phone. The signal's not working anymore. The cell phone's not bad. Think of it. The cell phone's not bad. When your cell phone dies or you can't hear your friend on the phone, you don't throw it out the window and go buy a new cell phone. You just go like, hey, wait a minute, I got to charge my phone up, or else let me wait till I get in a better service so my signal can leave. The same thing happens in our bodies. So as they wear out, they stop working. They're still there. They can be restored. So doctors over there saying, hey, let us inject something into a person so that way we can restore those things. They've been doing that. They've been doing injection in stem cells for a long time. We did that in our company, saw amazing thing has happened in the chiropractic realm. Now in this realm, we're showing clients how to turn their own stem cells on naturally by way of a frequency. So again, I'm excited that this is actually hitting the mainstream media, because once it hits mainstream media, then people might start to listen. But you guys are ahead of the curve. I mean, with what you're bringing here, Justin, I mean, it's really and shining a light on it, and it not just being a headline that people just scroll through, but just really people hearing it. Your body's amazing and it can restore, and that's cool.
If you have questions about any of this, healthwithjustin.com, Missy will be happy to help you and walk you through. It's not just about weight loss, what they do there. Obviously, you focus on that, but getting you healthier and literally this type of weight loss and the health focus starts at the cellular level, which is why it's so cool. All right, here's the question. I used to love these energy drinks, caffeine. It was always a fit man nearly killed by his energy drink habit. The New York Post with the story. What happened when his body finally crashed? Are these energy drinks good for you? Or the story may surprise you here, but I would just, I'm looking at this. What if you didn't need energy drinks?
Right.
Because I had, this habit where I was like pounding and always, 3:00 in the afternoon. And I thought, okay, what I'm doing is healthy. Like, this is not a bad thing. I don't need it anymore. I have a little bit of coffee in the morning, still got a little bit in here. I sip on it. I like to sip on coffee because I like the hot, especially this time of year, a little bit there, but I don't need it anymore because of the changes I've made. But why don't you talk about, because there are people that are getting sick. In about 5 minutes here, but there are people that are getting sick from these energy drinks, and it's not good.
No, not at all. And again, I don't mean to be like Debbie Downer and like trying to pull everything from everybody out of everyone's shopping cart, or like, yeah, better not buy that. But here's the thing: there are alternative healthy energy drinks that are out there. You have to look for them, and you're gonna always look for something that has stevia. Here's a key word: look for an energy drink that has stevia, stevia in it, because that's a natural sugar that will not spike your blood sugar levels. And that's where we're going with this. So yeah, these things taste good. The cans are shiny, great marketing, great packaging, all of that. But what happens when you drink that energy drink? There's two huge things that are going to happen. We're going to only talk caffeine. We're going to talk sugar. Caffeine. Yes. Like you said, what if we didn't need caffeine? What if you woke up alert? What if you woke up feeling good and you didn't need to drink 2 pots of coffee? Well, the caffeine, what it's going to do, it is going to stimulate your heart, which is, you want energy, right? Well, in order to get that energy, your heart has to get stimulated artificially. And it's what those chemical messengers are going in there is telling your heart, work harder, work faster, beat harder, faster, go, 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 go. You're not thinking that when you're drinking that yummy new flavor that Red Bull created, but your body is reaping the consequences of that. So your heart is then going to be it's being told to do something it maybe doesn't want to do, because maybe your heart's using its energy to go clear out some pathogens, because maybe you need to detox because it's something you ate the night before, or you had a hard weekend and your body is like, hey, we're sending signals that it's just cool to relax a little bit. Let us just recalibrate a little bit. We need to recalibrate. The body can't talk to you, but because you're pouring things down it, so the sugar is going to make your heart work harder. And then when the sugar comes into you, the sugars that are going to go in, they're going to spike your blood sugar. And the body is like, how do I get rid of the sugar? How do I get rid of the sugar? And then it's going to start to hold on to it in where? Your fat cells, because it's a toxin. It's like, whoa, we can't have all this. And so what ends up doing is your belly gets bigger, your liver gets more bogged down. And then maybe next year, maybe you got more allergies than normal. Why do you have allergies more than normal? Because your liver's bogged down. Why is it bogged down? Well, let's look at the domino effect. accumulation. It's a cumulative effect. And I can say this, my husband, we're ex-husband, I'm not used to saying those things, but anyways, my ex-husband, I watched what happened. He was constantly drinking these Red Bulls. He was 38 years old. Since he was 37, 36, however old when Red Bull came about, he was drinking them like there was no tomorrow, because again, he's got a mission. He wants to save the world kind of thing. Well, what happened? He went from normal guy doing Ironmans to becoming type 1 diabetic. Wow. And we didn't know what was going on with him. I mean, all of a sudden he was losing weight. He was turning gray. I mean, it was a bad thing. I drove him to the ER. He's like, nothing. I mean, and we went there, and in the ER, they ran his labs, and his blood sugar levels were like over 900. And they're like, how are you not in a coma? And so when he finally started doing research, it was like, he goes back to what was the only thing he changed in his life? Red Bulls.
It is incredible to watch. By the way, I have a friend, you're talking about sugar, who cuts that out every year at the beginning of the year. He does a great job with it. He loves it. And you wouldn't believe this, the changes that he sees. Yeah. And I've seen that lately too. You don't have to go cold turkey on all of it. I will tell you, I will say, it is something that as I get older, I watch closer and closer. And it's something that I think a lot of us probably are taking a close. That's the Maha movement now anyway, right?
Yeah, that's just it. Turn to the body. The body holds the score. The body holds the score, definitely.
I just look at RFK Jr. doing all those pull-ups. How much sugar do you think that guy's having?
Shoot. I've seen crazy his mitochondria is working well.
I've seen crazy stories about what he does, and his wife says he brings in like sauerkraut. He sneaks it into restaurants in DC when they're out in these fancy restaurants. He does all kinds of crazy. You don't have to be that nutty, but it is worth taking a closer look at.
Just one thing at a time. It's like maybe not one change at a time, because all of us are like all or nothing. Well, if I can't do all of it, I'm just going to do nothing.
You don't have to do, but you don't have to do it that way.
No, one thing at a time. Yeah.
It's picking up steam, the Maha movement. Always a pleasure. Maha Missy with the latest health update. And if you want to know more, healthadjustin.com. We'll make sure we keep you up to date on all those things and more, and the progress again. As I continue on my journey. Missy, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Absolutely, Justin. Thank you, and God bless.
You too.